What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and I'm here to bring to you my takeaway and analysis video for this week's game versus Illinois. Leave me a comment in the comment section below how you felt about the end result of the game. Were you confident that we were going to come back and win? Were you scared that we were going to lose? Let me know how you honestly felt about the game in the comment section below. This game, I don't even know where to start with this. Starting out the gate, it looked pretty good for us. I noticed that, for a lot of these games, that opening possession that we have is always real efficient, always making a statement. And I know it's got to be, scripted plays, and I understand that. But, I thought this game was going to be a lot different than the end result. We really struggled in this game. And a lot of glaring weaknesses that unfortunately, or I'm not going to even say unfortunate. Hopefully this is a wake-up call to be fixed before next week's game. But even before I get into that, it's actually been a pretty difficult day for the top 5 teams so far. Georgia struggled, only won by 10 points against Kentucky. Ohio State, even though the score reflects a little bit differently, they were in a dogfight with Maryland. Obviously, the score for our game, TCU won on a walk-off field goal. And as I'm recording this right now, Tennessee is losing to South Carolina. So, it's been a difficult a difficult day overall for the top 5 teams so far. And we're just part of the mix. That's why it's not a given, it's not a guarantee. You have to go out there and you have to earn every single victory. It's not easy to win every single week in college football. And this is just an example of that. I thought that, it showed a couple of things in this game for us. One, we're definitely too reliant on Blake Corum. It didn't help that Donovan Edwards didn't play either. And overall, it didn't help that we're missing a lot of key players. Like Schoonmaker, Mike Morris didn't play. There was different guys that didn't play. But I thought that still we had the talent to be able to overcome that. I guess in the long run we did, because we did end up winning eventually, but still, I didn't think the game would be this close. But we're just too heavy reliant on Blake Corum. And when he went down holding his knee, everyone was holding their breath. I know the stadium went quiet. I was, didn't know what to say. It was nice to see him come back, try out the, rush one time. But he didn't look, like when they showed him warming up, he didn't look right. He was still favoring his leg. It looks like he hyperextended his knee when he tried to plant, and the guy went for his knees. So, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens for this whole week coming up into the game. But, hopefully we'll have at least Donovan Edwards back. But that's a huge blow if Blake Corum can't go. Too much of the offense is reliant on him being in there. And with him and Edwards being down, the running game just was not the same. In fact, about in the second half, for a good portion of the time, we're losing yards. So, and part of it in itself was good to see JJ have to win it with his arm, and he did. But it goes into my second concern, and it's with the wide receivers. I mean, obviously, you know, it's been a glaring issue the whole season, but it really came out for this game. A whole lot of drops. Just bad wide receiver play where they're not helping JJ at all. I mean, there was that one play where Andrew Anthony, which he hasn't really done a whole lot the whole year, and if you see everywhere people wondering where he's at, why he's not getting enough touches, and man, when given the opportunity to make a play, he just didn't do it. That should have been a touchdown. It went right through his hands. It's not like it was anything difficult about it. No one deflected the ball. He just couldn't catch it. And these are plays that have to be made. There's no way that we're going to win any big game if our wide receivers, can't make plays. I was watching the Maryland game and watching, their wide receivers just go up and get it. And I can't think of one wide receiver on this team that can do that. Not at this point in time. It's almost like they have to be wide open in order to make a reception. There's not really any separation, and they're not going up there and making plays. So that's pretty disappointing. I mean, that's part of the reason why the game was as close as it was. I mean, we'll give credit where credit is due. Illinois ran the ball very well against us, much better than I thought, especially in the second half. Third quarter, which for the whole season we got owned. And, luckily in the fourth quarter, we reversed that and owned the fourth quarter like they owned the third quarter in order to get the win. Thank God for Jake Moody being, as reliant as he has been, for as long as I can remember. Because, I remember there was a time where, it was nervous time when we had to kick a field goal. But he's been money pretty much, for the last couple of seasons. And it had to come down to him kicking a field goal, but it is what it is. The passing game still so-so. I mean, it ended up being what we had to do in order to win, ironically. But it's still not what it should be, especially with the wide receivers not making plays, dropping the ball. Not getting open like they need to. And, just overall, and also JJ, there was a couple of instances where, like that one where Isaiah Gash dropped the football. Had he just looked a little bit further down the field, he had Colson Loveland wide open on a corner route. All he had to do was just hit him, but he went and threw it short, and Gash dropped the football, and we had to settle for a field goal. But those are reads that he has to make, and he also missed a wide open touchdown as well on the next possession. And of course, these are plays that have to be made. Especially if we're going to go into Columbus and get a win, we have to make those plays. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at this game and judge the team as a whole and say, oh, because of how we played against Illinois for this game, for this week, that we have no chance. But it has nothing to do with that. Each game is its own individual thing. You can't judge it from week to week. Because if we were to judge it from week to week, I would say that Illinois would have not had any opportunity or any chance to make this a game. they would have got their, got blown out and lost, by like 20, 30 points. But they came to play. Now, I don't know if it's that we looked ahead. I don't think we did. But, the injuries definitely played a part in it. And the way that they played a part in it. This was a good test for us. I'd rather us have this test and us build from that as far as character, experience, poise, all that. I'd rather us do that in this game than have to dig deep and do that on the road versus Ohio State next week. So this was definitely a learning experience, a character builder experience for JJ. Hope he can build on that and improve, because we're going to need that next week. Other than that, I'm just hoping and praying that, Blake is going to be all right, that, once everything gets iced up and he has an opportunity to rest for the week, that his knee will be okay and he'll be good to go for next week. Also, I'm hoping that all the players that were out for this week, they're ready for next week, because we're going to need all hands on deck, obviously, for next week. Just like I know that they have their share of stuff that they hope, that they can sort out and be ready for next week. Because from what I saw, I watched their game, and they're banged up in the running back position as well. We have Travion Henderson looked like, at the end of the game, he was in a walking boot. Mayan Williams didn't even play. And I think at the end of the game prior to this, he was in a walking boot. So everybody's banged up. So it's going to be interesting to see next week who's going to be ready to go and who's not going to be ready to go. But we definitely have to play better than we played this game. Luckily, we made enough plays, and Illinois was, especially, once we had the punt, that Illinois was real conservative with the football, allowing us enough time to do what we needed to do. The play calling was still kind of questionable. You could see that we were struggling running the football, especially in the fourth quarter. And there was some weird play calls where we were running the football, and you could see that we weren't getting any push. Not sure about that. On the third down play before we kicked the field goal to go up by 2, some strange play call where we, threw it to Cornelius Johnson, where he could have got tackled. If he made the catch and got tackled in bounds, we might have ran out of time because we were out of timeouts. The ball got deflected up in the air, could have been intercepted. Just some strange play calls at the end of the game that I don't understand. But all in all, at the end of the game and at the end of the day, all that matters is that we won, we survived, and we move on to play another game undefeated. So, we're 11-0. Trust me, that was nerve-wracking for me. I did have my doubts, whether or not we were going to be able to pull it out, especially when we had the punt late in the fourth quarter. And part of that's just because we just haven't seen JJ be able to do it, or he hasn't had to have to do it. So it's like when you don't do something and you have to do it for the first time in this particular stage, you always wonder, does he have the ability to do that? Well, now we know he does against a very good defense. So we're just going to have to see what goes on going forward for next week. So that's it for the video. Definitely leave a like on the video. I really appreciate that. It definitely helps my channel to grow. If you leave me a comment in the comment section below if you got this far in the video, give me a go blue. And definitely, if you enjoy my content and want to see more of it, definitely subscribe to the channel, as I'm trying to make the channel grow. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and as always, go blue.